everybody, it's Jama Malney. Thanks for joining me today for day 3 of my Extravaganza presentation on specialty paper. Today we're focusing on glitter paper, which holds a special place in my heart, so I'm excited to share my projects with you. We will be using some techniques such as rolling flowers like we did yesterday with the holographic paper and doing dry embossing, as well as showing you ways to add that wow factor to your projects in a really easy way because glitter paper packs such a punch. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get right into it.
So we're going to start out by forming flowers out of glitter paper. I used the same 3D flower die to cut these flowers out of Belle glitter paper, and I'm using my thumb and fingers to curl those flowers up. And this is a lot easier on the glitter paper than the holographic paper because the base of this cardstock is actually paper, not a plasticky material. So it forms really nicely. I decided to put a layer of vellum between the flowers like I did with the holographic paper because I really liked that look and I like how it breaks up all of that glitter. But I did add a little bit of shimmer again, which is a more subtle shimmer shine than the glitter paper. And it also helped us to form those flowers and for them to curl on their own. So I added some shimmer brush to the vellum. Those leaves curled up a little bit, and I bent the petals up just a little to give them some lift, but I didn't do much forming of the actual petals. So I'm going to put those layers together with foam tape. The foam tape from Close to My Heart, all of the 3D foam, whether it's the dots or the tape, is really, really sticky and holds well to the glitter paper. Next, I wanted to see what would happen if we ran the glitter paper through an embossing folder. And it does add a nice texture, although it's a lot more subtle on the glitter paper, but you can still see it, and it does add a nice kind of hidden element, unexpected element. It does, just like with, I guess, any paper, it makes the paper a little more brittle and makes it kind of curl just a little bit. So it's not as sturdy once you've run it through the embossing folder, and you're going to want to put plenty of tape down to adhere it to your card base. I paired this with a pearl paper wreath, and I'm just pulling out all of those little 3D leaves that lift up, and then I'm going to put that onto the glitter paper with 3D foam because remember that sticks well to the glitter paper. Now for this one, I did my tape runner and I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue around the edges so that it will stick to the glitter paper. The Tombow Mono glue will stick well to the glitter paper, and there is that finished card. I'm going to give you closer looks at all of these cards at the end, so stay tuned to that. Now this is what I call a twofer card, where I used the glitter paper to create one card, but the leftover pieces or the negative pieces I can use to form another card. So I spaced out my letter dies to form the word rejoice, and I'm one of those people who just eyeballs it. I'm not a measurer, so if you're a measurer, you'll want to measure it. When I cut out the glitter paper, there was a little tiny piece that the glitter had come off. I just used my alcohol marker to color it, and you'll never even notice. You couldn't really see the white spot on camera, but you could see it in person. Now for card number 2 of this twofer, I'm creating a fancy poinsettia. I'm inking around the edges of the poinsettia. First, I used Scarlet paper, but I inked in candy apple red because the Scarlet glitter paper is a little brighter than the Scarlet cardstock, and I wanted to brighten up the cardstock a bit. And then the Evergreen, I used Evergreen ink. And this is a little tip I learned from my friends Andrea and Julie, to take your stylus and draw the veins of the poinsettia onto your leaves. And it really makes a big difference. You can see it in the finished product, and it makes it look more realistic. And then I curled the edges. I'm kind of using my fingernail more than my actual thumb on this one, and they curled up really nicely, but it depends on how much you want it to curl up. And then I added gold shimmer brush to these, and I thought that was a nice touch. The liquid part is clear, but the shimmer is gold, so it works lovely. And now here is a look at how that turned out with the gold glitter die cut in the middle. So really pretty, and then I added some of the sequins on this one and kept it very simple. Now on these last examples, I'm using a background die to really make a statement with this glitter paper. This was such an easy way to add impact with glitter paper, yet it was so easy. So when you run this through the die cut machine, the glitter paper, the tiny little pieces sometimes stick a little bit, so I just use my piercing tool to get them out. And it's easier to do that from the back because you can see better. And then I use my Tombow glue to add glue all around the back, just little dots here and there. And then I'm going to adhere it onto pearl paper, and it looks so pretty. So once I get that down, I'm going to dress it up. I first wanted to stamp on the pearl paper, but I had some trouble. So I tried the StazOn ink first, that's in the top right. And then I tried the intense black down on the bottom, and they were not stamping very solidly. Then I tried the archival ink, and that's usually my favorite to stamp with, but just like with the holographic paper, it slid around a tiny bit and it was hard to get a solid look. So I ended up using just French vanilla cardstock to stamp, and that matches the pearl paper pretty well. So now in this example, this is 3 cards out of 1 die. I ran it through the die cut machine 3 times, and all of the little pieces I could fill in and get 3 different colors. I did end up running it through gold glitter as well. Not the whole, I didn't run a whole big piece through. I just did partial die cutting just to get a handful of the hearts from the gold paper. So I didn't have to use as big a piece for that, but I think that it really made these cards pop a lot more. So some of these I put up on thin 3D foam, and some of them I just glued straight down to the card base and added some dimension, and it looks really pretty in person.
Here's a closer look at all of the cards I created. This is the first one where we have these flowers as the focal point. Instead of using all Bluebell, I decided to mix the Desert Rose with it, and those colors look really beautiful together. I added a little bit around the outside, but of course I cut out the center so we didn't waste any. I did that same embossing folder that I've been using on the pearl paper, which really adds an extra nice detail. And then we formed these flowers. I ended up adding silver stickles to the middle of these. How pretty that looks. And then inside I stamped, "Where flowers bloom, so does hope." And since I didn't put a sentiment on the outside, I thought that was fitting for the flower card. And then next we moved on to these wreath cards. And I really love the statement that the wreath makes. It's actually bigger than I expected. It's from this new Serenity card making stamp set, which has a stamp and the matching die cuts for the wreath and the bow, which I used without the stamp set. So what I tested with this is that really cool embossed background with the glitter, and it doesn't show up as much as some of the other papers, but you do definitely get that texture, and so I think you can see that here. What I love about this wreath is that these little leaves stick up, and with the pearl paper you can kind of see the crease in there because it is such a thick paper, and to sort of cover that up I added some of these little sparkles, and they're moving around on me a little bit. I need to push them down more, but these little sparkles I added at the last minute, and I thought that they really completed the wreath nicely, and that makes such a beautiful statement there. And then with this one, I went with the Bluebell and Gold. And this is not close to my heart's embossing folder. This is one I already had that looks like falling snow. But I just reversed having gold as the wreath or the background, and then as the full background. So both options are very pretty. This is the pearl paper. You can see that sheen here. For the sentiment on these, I used this No Pekin stamp set, which is an older one, but it is still available, and it was the perfect size to go across there. And I backed it with gold glitter paper here and gold foil here, just to make it stand off of the background a little bit, especially this one because the pearl paper, and then this is that vanilla cardstock, which is the best match to the pearl paper. It matches better than the bright white, just to make it pop a little bit. So there's those cards. And then we went on to the Slimline Christmas cards, and look at how cool those turned out. I kept this one very simple. There's no dimension to it. I just added a few of the sequins. You could definitely turn this into a shaker card if you want, and that would look gorgeous. But that is just so fun, and that glitter just makes a statement, packs a punch, as does it in this card. But check out this poinsettia and how realistic those petals look. I hope you can see that embossing that I added. You can see it in real life, and then that sparkle from the gold shimmer brush is just gorgeous. This card looks so pretty. It is also on the pearl paper with a gold foil accent around the edge to make it pop off the pattern paper, and that just looks so pretty. Okay, then we moved on to making a statement with the background dies. And this is the first background die I used, and really such a statement with that one die. Pretty simple accents. I just kept it one color. I did a little bit of the black ore in the back to make it pop, and the black sentiment, and then this flower, which is from the Operation Smile stamp set, I just kept in black and accented it with some stickles here, and on these little berries, a few little gems, and then this silver embellishing thread. And you could keep it super, super simple, even more simple than this, and this is just the star of the show. There is the pearl paper in the background. You can kind of catch that, I think, which looks gorgeous. You definitely can see it, but you can also use just the regular white or vanilla cardstock and it would look amazing. And last but not least, we did these inlaid heart cards, and these really pack a punch. There's so much shimmer and shine. They would make amazing special Valentine's cards, but they also are great for any time. You can use any colors you want, but what I love is this sentiment says heartfelt thanks, so heart goes with the hearts. And then on the inside, from the bottom of my heart, and both of these are from this stamp set here, which is the Simple Florals stamp set. So you've got heartfelt thanks from the bottom of my heart. And so here is the pearl background with the glitter. And then I added this gold embellishing thread as a last minute decision. So I wanted to wrap it all the way around, but then you're going to see it on the inside. So I ended up holding it in place with a foam square and then added a little glitter heart that was left over. I added some of the gold glitter hearts later on, so that gave me a few extra hearts from the original cuts.
Thanks for joining me today, looking at some possibilities with glitter paper. I'm going to leave you with some still shots. However, I did have a little trouble capturing photos with this amazing paper, so I think the video before gave you a better look at the actual colors, but you can see some additional details here. And these were really, really fun to put together. I hope that you enjoyed and got some ideas from it. Be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow, where we will focus on using the new ore and pearl papers. Thanks for watching.